Welcome everybody to Harry Potter TCG Revival, Round 4, Finn versus Aron. So up top we have Finn's Creature Lesson Destruction deck, and on bottom we have Aron's Draco-Bulgeye Potion deck. So we've talked about Finn's before. Aron's deck is trying to recur Bulgeye Potion, which is a 10 cost potion item that you can use an action to discard it to do 13 damage to your opponent. So Aron is going to play a lot of items and get that boost off of his starter, Draco Malfoy Slytherin, which gives you an extra action once per turn whenever you use an action to play an item. So Aron's just going to essentially try to outpace his opponent with a bunch of extra actions. His deck has done very well this tournament. The Bulgeye Potion is recurred with Brass Scales. I'm assuming Aron is running Brass Scales. We will see that at some point throughout this match, hopefully. And Finn gets started with that early Black Bat. He's done that a couple of times this tournament, and that really is just a great way to get that early pressure on the board. He's not going to be able to keep up with Aron in terms of actions, because normally a Draco Malfoy Slytherin deck is just getting an extra action every single turn, and with actions being the main way to play cards, this just helps you really outpace anybody else. So we'll see if Finn can keep up. And Finn is going to start with Lost Notes. So there's the first Lesson Destruction. Oh, so he actually chooses the Holidays with Higgs. Interesting. So Lost Notes lets you choose an opponent's item or lesson in play and discard it. And it seems that Finn actually chose the item, which is fascinating. That's not been a strategy this far. And now we have Aron playing a Self-Stirring Cauldron. So this is a cauldron potion item that requires you to discard 2 potion lessons from play when you play it, but then it provides 4 potion power. So it's very strong. It is very weak if your opponent gets rid of it, because then you are out 2 power and a card, and that really sucks. But Aron has now played Brass Scales as well as Holidays with Higgs, and that Brass Scales will let him keep replaying items from his discard pile once per turn, as long as he has the power to play it, and that means that Self-Stirring Cauldron can keep coming back. And so Aron got an extra action with Draco and an extra action with Self-Stirring Cauldron, which is awesome. So he played some stuff and then played a Scribblifors, which allows him to choose 2 of Finn's cards, bounce 1, and discard 1, and he chose 2 lessons. Aron's off to a really great start in this game. He's got his setup out. He has the power he needs to play some powerful cards, and he's just sitting under a Black Bat from Finn. So Aron is really pulling ahead in this game. Let's see if he can keep up the lead. So there we see the Bulgeye Potion. So he likely had it in his discard pile and is using Brass Scales in order to play it from his discard pile. He does have 10 power because he has 6 lessons plus 4 power from Self-Stirring Cauldron. And Draco will give him an extra action. So I believe that he was able to get that full setup because of that extra action from Draco. And what's really nice about this little combo is Brass Scales will let you play the Bulgeye Potion. Action 2, you discard it to do 13 damage, and then Action 3 that you get from Draco for playing the Bulgeye, you can use that in various ways. You can play the Bulgeye again if you have a second Brass Scales. You can play a Bulgeye from your hand. You can do all kinds of things. So we see Aron play the Bulgeye from his discard pile and then immediately discard it to do 13 more damage. He's already done 26 damage with Bulgeye this game. Very quick start, and then plays these Scribblifors, targeting 2 of Finn's lessons again. So Aron is controlling this game between playing Bulgeye over and over again and getting rid of Finn's lessons, really controlling this game. Pretty much playing Finn's deck kind of against him, because Finn's entire strategy is to get rid of your opponent's lessons and then just play little creatures. Aron is getting rid of his opponent's lessons and then comboing off with Brass Scales. So this is a fascinating way for Aron to win. It looks like he is going to win at this point unless Finn can pull a miracle out of his back pocket. Okay, and that is game one. So Aron won game one. That was a really powerful setup he had. Both players have been able to sideboard up to 15 cards of their sideboard. Um, Fan is probably looking for something like a table trouble just to get rid of Aron's cards, other item destruction pieces, and Aron didn't really get to see a lot of Finn's deck other than the creature, so Aron might be looking for maybe just a creature prevention card, like in the stands or something along that line. Oh, Finn plays a Garden Gnome, so this is an interesting card. So it's at the end of turn. I don't remember if it's his turn or his opponent's turn. The opponent discards one card from their hand. So this is just going to help Finn kind of keep Aron's hand count down. If Aron gets a Brass Scales out, Aron doesn't care about discarding stuff because he can just replay items from his discard pile. So not sure if this is going to be super powerful against Aron or just kind of annoying. We'll have to see if Aron can get the Brass Scale set up a second time. And Finn plays a Lesson and a Prickly Porcupine. This will let him replace itself when he plays the card. Great. We've seen him do this before this tournament. So he plays a 2/2, replaces it, doesn't go down on cards in hand, puts board pressure out there. All around, really great. Aron plays a Dumbledore's Office. So I don't think that we've actually seen this this tournament at all. That's an awesome card to see. 5-cost Transfiguration location where your items or all players' items cost 3 less power to play. So that means those Brass Scales can come out with only 5 power because they technically cost 4. Love seeing Dumbledore's Office. This also helps Bulgeye Potion, which will now only cost 7. So that is much easier for Aron to play, and he doesn't have to worry about getting up to that 10 power. That is really awesome to see. So Finn plays a second Garden Gnome, really putting the pressure on Aron to have to do something with those cards in hand. So Aron draws for turn and then looks like he discards the Magical Drafts and Potions item in play for an action to draw 3 cards. Then he plays a Collapsible Cauldron, which makes you discard a potion item from play. It will provide 3 potion power, so he actually goes up a bit on power. But now his potions is kind of fickle. If Finn does have a table trouble, Aron loses all of his potion power, which could be an issue. And there is the table trouble. We knew it was probably going to come out at some point. And that was a great time to play it. So Aron is not in an awful position because Dumbledore's Office does help reduce the cost of items by 3, but he just doesn't have potion power. His hand is getting discarded because of those Garden Gnomes. This is a different kind of control that Finn is doing right now. It's very effective against an item deck. Table Trouble, everything away, and then Garden Gnome, everything in the hand. This is super effective. Finn is in a great position, still doing a little damage every turn with that Porcupine. Overall, he's doing great. He's really turned this game around from last game. And now we see what Finn's deck has been doing all tournament, which is playing Scribblifores, likely to get rid of Lessons, I would assume. He could get rid of Dumbledore's Office here too, which would be a fantastic move, and it looks like he did choose that. And that is a great move because now he has really crippled Aron's game plan. Aron just needs so much power to play the items in his deck. Brass Scales cost 7, Bulgeye Potion cost 10. It's just such a high amount for him to get up to. And starting down with his hand being discarded every turn, all of his really good items having been discarded with that table trouble, Aron just is kind of really needing to do something, and I don't know if he's going to be able to come back from this. He does play a healing spell. I believe that's Ferula, if I'm not mistaken. And that, I believe, lets him heal up to 6 cards. I will double check on that, but I believe it's up to 6 cards. So it's 3 non-healing, but then if he has at least 3 potion lessons in his discard, he can shuffle up to 8 non-healing into his deck. And I believe he does have at least 3 potion lessons. I believe he's discarded them all for the cauldron and other things. So he's going to heal 8 cards. Really great 2-cost spell here. This is great. So even though Aron did heal a lot, and we see Finn playing a Crazed Capybara, that's also a classic that we've seen him do. But even with Aron having healed a lot, the issue is he doesn't have cards in his hand. He doesn't have a way to draw a bunch of cards. And Finn is just going to discard a lot of stuff with those gnomes. So Aron is kind of in this spot where he's like, I don't know what I should be, how I'm going to come out of this. He's going to spend so many actions drawing cards and then only able to play 1 card a turn probably. And it's just going to feel like a bit of a waste. And he discards a pewter cauldron to the gnome. That would be great to ramp him up some power, but he just doesn't have the action to be able to play the lesson, play the cauldron, and draw the card that's the 2nd card per turn. He's in a rough spot. And Finn plays Invisible Ink, and it looks like Aron just folds at that point. There was really no way I think that Aron could have come back from that. He saw that Invisible Ink come down, and he just turned in the game. I think that was the best move. He could have played it out, but really with so much lesson destruction and hand destruction, Aron was just in a rough spot. And Aron is off to a great start again. He has a bunch of lessons down. He plays a Holidays with Hags, triggering his starter. All good things. As a quick reminder, Finn's starter is Professor McGonagall, which will allow him to discard an opponent's lesson from play once per game. We haven't seen Aron play any lessons, so that ability probably doesn't matter. But then she also provides 1 transfiguration lesson, which is how Finn is able to play all these transfiguration cards with only creature lessons in play. So we have Aron playing the Brass Scales out, which is fantastic, and also his lessons out, which is also fantastic. So Aron is in a decent position right now. He has a lot of power. He doesn't have the card draw and doesn't have the other cards in hand to be able to use all that power. So great position in terms of power, bad position in terms of cards in hand. Whereas we see Finn's hand is full of Invisible Ink, Scribbler-Force, Table Trouble, all the stuff he needs to just kind of screw over Aron. So it's a difficult position for Aron to be in. He doesn't know what his opponent has, obviously, but he just needs some more cards. And there, Finn, I believe, just drew his 7th lesson, plays it, and now he can play Scribbler-Force. 1 more, and he can play Invisible Ink, and his hand is just full of cards to get rid of every lesson Aron has in play. We'll see if he starts just doing that next turn. Unfortunately, Finn doesn't have any creatures, and his deck needs creatures. He can remove all the lessons he wants, but unless he's doing damage, he's not going to end up outpacing his opponent, so he really needs something here. So he does play 2 Scribble-4s, getting rid of a bunch of lessons that Aron has in play. Aron luckily can kind of get some of that power back because of Draco. He can play some items that provide power and then get back in action and then still have 2 actions to do some other stuff. Oh, and we do see Aron cited in, I believe it's Transfiguration Test there in his hand. He does have 2 of them. And that was kind of what we were looking for after that first match, or that first game. He needed some way to deal with his opponent's creatures. Ironically, Finn has no creatures in play at this moment, but Aron does have Transfiguration Test. And if his opponent has 2 or more creatures, Finn would then choose one of them, keep one, and discard everything else. So great if Finn gets the pressure on, but right now, Aron's just kind of chilling. So we have Finn playing another Invisible Ink, getting rid of just more lessons that Aron has on board. We do see Aron has another book that provides power, 2 more lessons, getting that 3rd action from Draco. So even though a lot of his lessons are being discarded, he has cards to get back that power. I don't know how long he can keep that up for if Finn just keeps discarding lessons, and Finn drew another Invisible Ink. That's 2 more lessons gone for Aron when Finn decides to play them, and then he plays Invisible Ink. This is becoming a very difficult position for Aron to be in. He can keep throwing down that power, but at some point he runs out of lessons. He just needs to hope that Finn runs out of lesson destruction cards before Aron runs out of actual lessons in hand. And we do see here, Finn's still not drawing creatures. This is very odd for his deck. He normally has at least 1 creature on board by turn 2 or 3. So for him still not to have one is just very, very strange. He does play a Table Trouble, which will discard all of Aron's items. Losing those books kind of hurts a lot. Holidays with Hags would get back 2 potion lessons from his discard pile, which would be awesome. And those magical drafts and potions would let Aron draw 3 cards for 1 action. Unfortunately, he does have to get rid of them. Hopefully he can come back from that in some way. So Aron now has 5 lesson power in play. He does have to pass turn, and Finn does have Invisible Inks in hand. God, that is brutal for Aron. There go 4 of his potion lessons, and he has no more lessons in hand. He just drew one for one of his actions. But he's at such a deficit. If Finn plays Scribble-4s and gets rid of another lesson, Aron is just in a rough spot. And there it is. He plays Scribble-4s. Aron needs to decide, do I keep Transfig or do I keep Potion? He kept the potions. He's going to discard the Transfiguration. That's just a very difficult spot for Aron to be in. He might have played most of his lessons at this point, and he's just going to struggle to get back into this game. So Finn plays a Crazed Capybara, so there's that damage we've been talking about. And then he plays a Picking on Neville to get rid of Aron's other lesson, his last one that we see. And Aron is just, oh, what a rough spot. He started out so strong but didn't have the cards to play. And now that he has no lessons in play, he has the cards to play. Irony here is painful to watch. And Finn's game is finally online with those creatures doing some damage. Aron is just not going to be able to come back from this, I think. He's just so far behind with lessons. And Finn has a Table Trouble in hand, which if Aron does manage to get lessons out, Table Trouble is just going to destroy what he gets out there. This is a rough spot. Finn's deck has proven time and time again that if you destroy your opponent's lessons, you often can come back. It really just stops some combo decks from being able to go off, and it's been very effective. And you pair it with some creatures, and you have a very solid build that can just beat a lot of decks. And he has just beat Aron's item deck, it looks like. Aron is down to 10 cards, and Finn's creatures will do a lot of damage afterwards. And that is game. Aron concedes. So that is a 2-1 win for Finn. Those were great duels by both players. Aron's first game was super strong. We got to see that combo, which is always fun to see decks combos go off and do their thing. Finn was able to come back game 2 and 3, especially game 3, and just really control that game. Great game by both players. Thank everybody for watching, and good luck to both players in future games.